Owing to changes in climate patterns, among several other factors, uncertainty with traditional livelihoods like agriculture is on the increase. This is causing an increasing number of rural households to choose small ruminant rearing as their primary means of livelihood. A livelihood survey conducted by CPF with a sample size of 680 Forest Protection Committees or VSSs revealed that this trend is also seen among the forest-dependent communities. Small ruminant rearing is a vital source of livelihood for these communities, especially in the arid and semi-arid forested regions of the state.
నేను కూలి పని చేస్తుంటే నాకు పూట పోయలేదు 6 ఏళ్ల ఉంటే నేను జీవాలు పెట్టుకొని దాని గుండా నేను భూపతి పోతున్నా భూమి ఉంటే బందిర భూమి చెట్లు చామలు ఉన్నాయి దాన్ని తయారు చేసుకోలేక ఈ జీవాలు పెట్టుకొని నేను భూపతి పోసుకుంటాను.
In these regions, the forests are mere scrub jungles and the returns from NTFPs are very low. Even though small ruminant rearing is a lucrative option, shortage of fodder for the animals is threatening even this livelihood option. This trend of increasing dependence of rural poor on small ruminants, along with the fast decreasing common lands, is resulting in forests becoming the main source for fodder.
సాంఘికంగా గొర్రె పెంపకందారులు చాలా నష్టపోతుంటారు. ప్రస్తుత పరిస్థితి దీనికి ముఖ్య కారణం ఏంటంటే భూమి లభ్యత, ముఖ్యంగా భూమి వినియోగం పెరిగిపోయింది. చాలా మందికి పట్టా భూములుగా ఇంతకుముందు కొండలు గుట్టలు శిఖం భూములు పూరంభోగు భూములు ఎక్కువగా ఉండేవి. అవి మేత వనరులుగా గొర్రెల మేక పెంపకందారులు గొర్రెలు మేపుకుంటా ఉండేవాళ్లు. ఇప్పుడు ఈ భూమి వినియోగం పెరిగిన తర్వాత మేత లభ్యత కూడా గొర్రెల మేకలకి తగ్గుతా వస్తా ఉంది.
Andhra Pradesh has over 7,000 VSSs across the state. Even though this community forest management program is meant to cater to the needs of all forest-dependent poor, it is unable to meet the needs of small ruminant rearers. As the present stage of interventions are focused on regeneration, grazing of small ruminants gets restricted in the forests.
Problem here is, as we see, the reserve forest area is mostly degraded, especially in the fringe villages, fringe areas of the adjoining villages. This is mostly, if we see, the large ruminants or the so-called the cattle, they go deep inside the forest, whereas the goats and the sheep, they are mostly confined to the fringes because the people who accompany them, they want to be restricted only to the fringe areas of the village.
This has put the Forest Department in a paradoxical situation. The department understands that managed grazing is beneficial to the forest ecosystem as a whole. But prolonged or unmanaged grazing in fringe forests has allowed retrogressive ecological succession to set in. This is slowly affecting the quality and quantity of fodder supply available from these forest lands. This has created a severe conflict situation among concerned stakeholders, both at village and government level, over the use of this resource base.
ఈ పార్ట్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఏం చేస్తున్నారు, స్కిల్లింగ్ అనేది అదేని ఇదని ఉండవన్నీ చెట్లని తీసి ఒక చెట్టు పెట్టడం, మేము ఏదో ఉండి లేకపోవడం, మేము ఆ చెట్టు కొట్టడం, ఇది లేకోకుండా మీరు ఏదైనా ఒక సహాయకారం చేస్తే ఈ అడవుల్లో కూడా రాకోకుండా మేము బయట పట్టలే బతాం. ఈ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ వచ్చి పట్టుకుంటే దానికి 12 రూపాయలు పెనాల్టీ వేస్తారు. అవి లేకపోతే మేము కూలి నాలుగుపోతే మాకు పూట గడవదు. అట్లా లేనప్పుడులో మాకు ఇదే కొంచెం చాలా మందికి పెళ్లిళ్ళు పేరంటాలు పిల్లలకు తలలు కూడా అందరికీ మాకు ఈ అవసరమే. ఎవడు లెక్కకపోయినా సంకలో పెట్టుకుని ఒక పిల్లని తీసుకుపోయి బజారుకు పోయినా 10 రూపాయలు వస్తాయి.
CPF realized that the threat to the vulnerable forest ecosystem is apparent, but the fodder scarcity and the consequent livelihood issues of small ruminant rearers is equally important. It initiated a study followed by in-depth research on fodder requirements and issues of small ruminant rearers in VSSs of Kadapa and Medak districts of Andhra Pradesh. The study was followed by a multi-stakeholder meeting at Panchayat level with all village level stakeholders. This paved the way for organizing a multi-stakeholder workshop in collaboration with ISN RMPA and CalPI of SDCIC. The workshop was basically organized to understand synergies between the secondary stakeholders from the forest, animal and rural development departments, along with NGOs and research institutions. The use of the RACS methodology in the workshop redefined the problem and brought out the fact that these conflicting stakeholders actually agreed on some issues. Lack of convergence between them was the root cause for issues related to livestock-based livelihoods and use of natural resources. These events clearly brought out the fact that it was necessary to work in multi-stakeholder groups at all levels with a systematic approach. The workshop resulted in a pilot project with the objective of developing fodder at village level through a convergence approach with the support from SDCIC and the Ford Foundation. The field pilot was initiated in Tuvapalli Panchayat, Maidukur Mandal of Kadapa district in July 2005. The project had two primary objectives. One, to work out suitable mechanisms for sustainable use of lands for fodder production in and around VSS forests. And secondly, to improve coordination and dialogue between key government players, CBOs and NGOs. To implement these objectives, a multi-stakeholder group called the Fodder Management Committee was formed and a plan was developed. The committee consisted of members of SHGs, VSSs, watershed, panchayat ward, livestock rearers and farmers with large ruminants. Regular meetings were held. Simultaneously, campaigns were conducted at the village level and pamphlets were distributed to create awareness about the formation of the committee, its roles and responsibilities, and to also convey the message that management of fodder resources at village level requires the help and cooperation of everyone. Practical demonstration of fodder development in villages by establishment of fodder nurseries and pasture plots in wastelands was taken up. 3 satellite fodder nurseries were established in 3 different types of lands. The capacities of the committee members were built through various approaches. They were exposed to concepts like agroforestry, resource conservation, and income generation through fodder resource management of forest land. They were involved in participatory research and analysis. This helped to give them clarity on developing strategies towards delinking large and small ruminants from using the same resource, options for generating fodder for landless as well as making it an income generating option. Simultaneously, CPF and its local partner CHRD was strengthening linkages between the stakeholders at the village level and the concerned government departments and research agencies. Their support was vital to access funds from ongoing government programs. This would help in developing more fodder resources at the village level. Progress on the activities being taken up was regularly appraised to the concerned officials of forest, animal husbandry departments and the district watershed management agency at all levels. Wherever possible, the concerned field officials were involved in land development activities as resource persons for technical backup support. But the progress was not all rosy for the stakeholders. In 2005, a severe disease outbreak due to untimely heavy rainfall resulted in a high mortality rate among small ruminants.
జీవాలు పిల్లలు ఒక 40 పిల్లలు ఉన్నాయి. సూర్యుని అనేదో పేదవాని కష్టపడినందుకు పిల్లలు ఉన్నాయి. ఏదో 2 ఏళ్ల కల్లా తీరిపోతుంది ఆసం బాకీ అనుకోని. అటువైపులో తుఫాను వచ్చేసింది. కాళ్ళు పేలి ముందు జబ్బు కాళ్ళకు వచ్చేసింది. కాళ్ళకు వస్తానే మళ్ళా ముట్టికి వేదికి వస్తానే మళ్ళీ దమ్మకు వచ్చేసింది. ఇట్లా 3 జబ్బుల వల్ల 78 జీవాలు 78 జీవాలలో 27 జీవాలు.
Continuing the Fodder project had become a difficulty as every interaction with the community brought out the problems. What started as a fodder generation program then had to also look at preventive healthcare services to keep the interest of the communities on fodder development activities. CPF then moved into phase 2 of the project. Here the focus was on collectively working towards sustainable management of fodder resources by all concerned stakeholders. The objectives in this phase was to increase the area under fodder by utilizing the existing funds in government NRM related program. CPF and its local partner CHRD helped the fodder management committee members with information on processes involved in accessing relevant schemes, paperwork and accessing technical support wherever required. Working with multi-stakeholders at all levels brought in results in a short time, and several implementation gaps could also be overcome. As relevant field officials had already participated in the RAC's workshop, their changed perceptions enhanced collaborative work. The project helped communities access and ground over rupees 28 lakhs from the Andhra Pradesh Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. Using the scheme, 300 acres of fodder resources in wasteland was developed. This provided employment to over 400 villagers. In collaboration with CREDA and the Horticulture Mission, 60 farmers in Katekindapalli with own lands and large ruminants could access the scheme for horti-pasture development. A buyback arrangement was made with the Animal Husbandry Department at district level to generate Co-3 fodder slips. This encouraged 79 farmers with large ruminants to cultivate fodder in their own lands, both for sale of slips as well as for their own use. This was never practiced before.
కోతిరి పొడుగుగా వచ్చి వేస్ట్ గా వేయడంలో ఘాట్లో ముద్దులు అనేటివి వదిలిపెట్టేసి వేస్ట్ చేసేస్తుండే ఎఫ్ఎంసీ వారిని కోరినాను ఇంకో చాప్ కటింగ్ మిషన్ కావాలి వేస్ట్ దంట్లు అనేవి అయిపోతున్నాయని కోరితే వాళ్ళు తెచ్చి మాకు ఇక్కడ ఇవ్వడం జరిగింది. దానివల్ల కట్ చేసి చిన్న చిన్న ముక్కల వల్ల పడడం వేస్ట్ కాకుండా ఇది వరకు 2 మోపులు 3 మోపులు పట్టేదైతే ఇప్పుడు 1 మోపు 1.5 మోపు కల్లా మాకు యూజ్ జరగడం జరిగింది. ఈ కటింగ్ చిన్న చిన్న ముక్కల వల్ల ముద్దులు అన్నివి తినడం వల్ల పాలు దిగుబడి బాగా వస్తుంది, వెన్న శాతం బాగా వస్తుంది.
Preventive healthcare services were increased in collaboration with AHD and DWMA, and 6 health, fertility and deworming camps were accessed timely. Meanwhile, the fodder nurseries were a big hit with the community as the villagers started using these plots for their fodder requirements. Accessing these benefits timely from various government schemes kept the enthusiasm of the communities and built in ownership to the project activities.
ఇంతకు ముందు మాకు ఏమి తెలియదు. ఇప్పుడు ఈ పశుగాస యజమాన కమిటీ అనేది వచ్చినప్పుడు మాకు దీనివల్ల సన్నజీవాలు, మేకలు, పశువులు అవన్నీ కూడా మేము బాగా పెంచుకున్నాం. మరి దీనివల్ల మాకు చాలా లాభం వచ్చింది. ఈ గుట్టలన్నీ కాపాడుకొని దీనికి కంచె వేసుకొని చుట్టూ ఇది ఇప్పుడు కాపాడుకున్నాం. ఇంతకు ముందు ఏమి లేదు దీనిపైన. ఇప్పుడు మాకు దీనివల్ల చాలా లాభం ఉంది. ఇది ఇంకా కావాలని అనుకుంటున్నాం.
ప్రతి గుట్టను కంచెలు వేసుకొని గిడ్డి టెన్సెస్ తీసుకొని ఉపాధి హామీ పథకం పైన టెన్సెస్ తీసుకొని స్టైలో ప్రతి టెన్సెస్ పైన చల్లుకొని బాగా పెంచుకొని బాగా అభివృద్ధి చేసుకుంటా ప్రతి జీవాలకు ఉపయోగపడేటట్టు మేము ప్రతి గ్రామానికి అవకాశం మేము చేసుకుంటా పోరాడతాం.
As the project progressed, CPF and CHRD raised a concern. Their role of connecting and coordinating concerned line departments cannot continue over a long period. In view of this, what could be the possibilities within the existing government framework that could allow such a process to get internalized and sustained? This thought was shared with senior officials in the Forest Department, Rural Development and Animal Husbandry Department. In response to this, a general need expressed across all departments was a need for a common platform to clear misconceptions and discuss and identify possible options of collaboration. This led CPF to organize a state-level multi-stakeholder workshop jointly with Intercooperation India and the Departments of Forests, Animal Husbandry and Rural Development of the Government of Andhra Pradesh. The workshop brought out facts on the present productivity status of the forests in Andhra Pradesh. That grazing control is relevant for other departments as well. Fodder management for small ruminants in particular has to be approached from different perspectives in different regions with separate sets of interventions for different ecosystems. That potential of VSS must be explored and more pilot projects need to be encouraged and supported. Land tenure rights of CPRs for rearers also is an area that needs attention. And there was also a consensus that convergence between AHD, RD and FD will help address problems as a holistic approach is needed. NGOs need to play a supportive role. As policy development was being explored, and the fact that it is a long process, CPF felt to develop other ways of stimulating and continuing interdepartmental collaboration. The RACS methodology here was now combined with certain tools of systems thinking. A training was also conducted, and these results were developed into a manual to be adopted by training academies of line departments.
ఫారెస్ట్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఏమంటారు, అడవిలోకి పశువులు రాకూడదు, రిస్ట్రిక్టెడ్ గ్రేజింగ్ ఉండాలా, రొటేషనల్ గ్రేజింగ్ ఉండాలా అని పుట్టదు. ఇంకా దాని పక్కన ఉంటే రూరల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ ఆయన వేస్తాడు. ఫారెస్ట్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ వాళ్ళ పాలసీలు మారాలా, దానివల్ల పశువులకు బెయిల్ జరగడం లేదు అని బాధ. నా ఉద్దేశంలో కోఆర్డినేషన్ ఉండాలి. మన మైండ్ సెట్ కూడా ప్రతి డిపార్ట్మెంట్ మార్చుకోవాలి.
Based on results at the field level, as well as interest expressed by senior officials, CPF has been asked to replicate similar models of fodder development in other forest divisions, where there is an overlap with watershed programs.
పూపల్లి గ్రామ పంచాయతీలో ఈ రోజున మేత లభ్యత అనేది సమృద్ధిగా ఉన్నది. సో ఈ మేత లభ్యత ఎక్కువగా గొర్రె పెంపకందారులకు చేయాలి అంటే ఒక యానిమల్ హస్బెండరీ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ చేయూతనిస్తే సరిపోదు. దీనిలో అనేక రకాలైన శాఖల భాగస్వామ్యం అవసరం ఉంటుంది. ముఖ్యంగా అటవీ శాఖ, తర్వాత రెవెన్యూ శాఖ, పంచాయతీ శాఖ, తర్వాత వాటర్ షెడ్ కమిటీసు, తర్వాత డిఆర్డీఏ, తర్వాత ఎన్జీఓస్, తర్వాత గ్రామంలో ఉండేటువంటి రైతు సంఘాలు, ఈ అన్ని డిపార్ట్మెంట్స్ కలిసి కన్వర్జెన్స్ గా చేస్తేనే ఈ మేత లభ్యత అనేది మనము ఎక్కువగా చేయడానికి ఆస్కారం ఉంటుంది.
In its short span, despite the apparent differences in approach, this project showcased the effectiveness of a consensus between multiple stakeholders. Challenges still exist, but this outlook will bring in fodder security and improve the livelihoods of the small ruminant rearers.